My name is Christian Key, and welcome back to Celebrating Every Day of 2020 with me. Today, September 8th, 2020, is International Literacy Day. The ability to read and write should be seen as a human right because it is such an essential foundation for education. Literacy keeps your brain young by fighting off degenerative diseases such as Alzheimer's and dementia. It also raises your quality of life by upwards of 40% compared to those who are illiterate and living in poverty. It also increases your life expectancy by 25 or more years compared to those who are illiterate. But despite its importance to all of humankind, nearly 800 million people around the world remain illiterate. About 2/3 of these are uneducated women. And it brings the entire world literacy rate down to 82%. By holding up patriarchal beliefs around the world, we are subjecting men, women, and children to the harms of this flawed system where women and their educations are devalued. But each time a woman stands up for herself without knowing it possibly or even claiming it, she stands up for all women. Maya Angelou. This quote always makes me think of my best friend. So when we moved back to Abilene, when I was in the 4th grade, one of our very first assignments was to pair up and read a chapter book, which sounds like a regular assignment for a 4th grader, but I was freaking terrified. I could not read like the other kids. My words would get all jumbled up on me and I'd get really frustrated because I knew, I just didn't click. And whenever I would try to read out loud, forget about it. I would stutter and be a hot mess. It was really embarrassing. So I was paired up with Kelsey, and she's like, okay, I'll read a couple pages, and you can read a couple pages. A couple pages passed, and I kind of salesman my way into being like, okay, so you read a chapter, I'll read a chapter. Okay, well, you read a couple chapters, and I'll read a couple chapters. Until I got to the very last chapter of the book, and she said, look, if you don't read this last chapter, I'm going to tell on you. Me, believe it or not, being a lot bigger than Kelsey back then, told her that if she didn't read that last chapter for me, I was going to beat her up. So she reluctantly read that last chapter. And then out while we were at playground, she told our teacher. And whenever the rest of the class went into the classroom, we were outside of the classroom, and our teacher just plainly asked me, why did you bully her into reading for you? And I could not think of an excuse. I was just embarrassed and upset. I started bawling my eyes out, telling them that I don't know how to read like the other kids, and I didn't want to be embarrassed. I didn't want to get picked on. And before I could even finish a full thought, Kelsey just gave me the warmest hug and told me not to be embarrassed, that it was okay, and that she would teach me how to read. She changed my life. She continues to change my life because she's still my best friend. I love you to the moon and back, and thank you for this beautiful gift that you helped me acquire. You've pushed me to do so many things that I used to not even think were possible. So, which inspirational woman taught you how to read? How has literacy positively impacted your life? And lastly, what do you have to celebrate today? Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a loving International Literacy Day.